looked down into her brown eyes and said, say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around him.
Howdy, this is Eddie with another episode of Corn-Fed Bushcraft. Today we're going to discuss the hobo stove or the hobo cooker, how it's made, do a little demonstration and see how well it works. Alright, first off we have the heart of the hobo cooker. The firebox, furnace, whatever you want to call it. This is simply made out of a large juice can. Hole cut in the side, a square actually. 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches, somewhere's in there. Down along the bottom, we drilled several holes all the way around. I believe they look to be a 5/16 hole. This allows air to come in through the fire, which will be down here in the bottom. We also have several holes a little ways up. As you can see right there, it's the hole, the opening, if you will. Some holes there on the side. These allow for airflow. If you come on up to the top, we have two holes up here near the top. Two more a little ways around, and two on the opposite side. These are to hold the peg that will allow you to set whatever you're cooking on top without it touching the fire, and the two holes allow you to adjust the height, so that'll allow you to cook with different temperatures in the pan on top that you're cooking in. I personally carry these large stew cans with me. They're great for cooking. They clean up very easily. Plus, they don't cost anything. After you're done with, eating a good hearty can of stew, you got a recycled bowl right there. Now, for the pegs, I usually use these long nails. I mean, they are really long, as you can see. Super long nails. I round the end of them off so that there's no sharp edge, nothing to get hurt on. I usually carry two of those. For some reason I've misplaced one today. I'm just using a little piece of metal stick through there. It all works the same. It doesn't really have to be a nail. It just has to be something metal that can withstand the heat of a fire. Alright, now this cooker can use multiple sources of heat, as you can see. Here I prefer, building the all-natural fire. That's a little lint back there in the back. That's just me, you got the resources, why not use them? You can also use something called the Buddy Burner. All this is a tuna fish can. On the inside, it's been layered around and around and around with cardboard, the corrugated type, that has a little holes in it. I don't know if you can see it too well. But after that's in there, I usually stick a little wax out of a wick out of a candle or something to make it a little easier to light it. You can do this with twine or whatever you have laying around. And then I take and melt wax, crayons, anything that has paraffin in it, heat it up real good and pour it in there and let it soak into all that cardboard. These things will burn forever. They'll burn for hours and hours on end. Work real great for lighting up, the inside of my shelter. That's primarily what I use them for. But they also work great for cooking. I mean, they fit, as you can see, right down in there. And you got a heat source forever. I mean, they burn several hours, and they boil water pretty fast. Alright, now we're going to take those sticks right there and that little bit of lint and my fire steel, and we're going to start us up a fire in this, and once I get it going, I'll get back with you. Alright, I'm back, and we've got a pretty good little fire going here. The wood's a little wet, so it takes a little bit to get it going good, but once it starts to burn down and make a good bed of coals in there and gets to where we can just start adding small sticks, we'll put some water on and time it and see how long it takes to boil. Now, the thing I like about this cooker is I showed you this can earlier. Well, they make 3 or 4 different sizes of cans that'll fit inside of that. So you can actually carry 3 or 4 different cooking pans, water sanitizing pans, things of that nature inside of this can, and it takes up no more space. What I like to do is I like to punch a hole here and back over here and run a clothes hanger across the top, and I can hang it over a campfire if I'm not using it on the burner. Now these look a little bit better. You know, you can go out and slap on some fireproof paint, you know, some heat resistant paint, you know, make them all fancy and everything. I personally don't see the point in it, but they work real good. I keep one at my personal space. Actually, that's where this one came from. You know, it's just a real good way to cook a small amount of food for one person, especially in the summertime when it gets, you know, upwards of 110 around here. You don't want a really huge fire, but, you know, it's still nice to have a hot meal every now and then. And this works perfect for that. I mean, you can't beat it. You can carry it in your pack. It weighs, you know, very little, less than a pound. I'm sure it weighs less than half a pound. You know, I carry, I think, a total of 3 cans inside of that. I usually put a fire steel in it, some dryer lint, you know, a spoon and some small pocket knife, you know, something of that nature inside of it. Carry it in a small pack, you know, with what I'm going to eat that day, my little day pack, if you will. And I head off down to my personal space. Alright, and we've got a pretty good bed of coals going in there. A little bit of flames licking up the side there. It is now 4:27. We're going to set this here can of water on there. It's about 3/4 of the way full. And we're going to see just how long it takes to get that to boiling. And I'll get back with you when I see that it's starting to boil. Alright, it hasn't even been a minute yet. And I know you can't see it too well in the video. But that top can full of water is just sweating all around the outside. I mean, it's sweating to the point that the moisture is actually dripping down in the fire. You know, usually, I guess it's, you know, because of the cool water out here today, everything's kind of cold. But usually I don't have that problem. It doesn't seem to be affecting the fire any. I mean, the fire is still burning good in there, so we'll see how that's going to work. You know, you can see the little bit of smoke coming up on the sides of the can. So far, it seems to, like I say, not really be affecting the fire, but I'll keep you posted on that, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, it's been approximately 8 minutes. We have our first bubbles starting to come to the surface, our first sign of boiling. Give it another 2 minutes or so, and I'm sure it'll be at a good hard rolling boil. I personally prefer to wait until the hard rolling boil, and then wait 10 more minutes before I feel safe enough or secure enough to drink any water that comes from the creeks or the tank. You know, it's about a half a mile across the woods here. That's just my preference. I don't know, you know, what the standard is, but that's what I've always heard, and that's what I've always gone by. And I ain't died from it yet, so seems to be working for me. As you can see, we have a pretty huge bed of coals in there. Good hot flame coming right up through the middle. You know, the cans, you know, you remember earlier the can was nice and bright and shiny and silver. Now it's more of a goldish brown color. So it's pretty hot. I bumped it earlier, and needless to say, it burned my hand pretty good. Alright, this has been a brief review of the HOBO cooker. In my next video, I'm going to make a homemade water filtration system that you can carry in your pack. You can carry it hiking, camping, whatever. Very cheap, very easy to make, very effective. So this has been another episode of Corn-Fed Bushcraft. Until next time.